You are now listening to the Urban Wire podcast on the Urban Wire Media Network, where we shine the light on the issues impacting the urban community. Join us as we discuss the latest in news, politics, social commentary, celebrity news, gossip, interviews, and so much more. This podcast and other podcasts on this network are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Blog Talk Radio. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/UCOFW and join our Facebook group page and official page for show updates, discussions, and show listings. Email us at ucofw.indy@gmail.com to advertise with us, submit show ideas, and other business inquiries.
Cie Treats LLC is a decadent sweet shop that creates exquisite desserts for any occasion. Whether it be for an anniversary, birthday, special event, etc., Cie Treats has you covered. Cie Treats LLC uses the most freshest items and the best chocolates, caramels, and products in the world. Every bite of Cie Treats will leave you wanting more. She's located on the west side of Indianapolis, and you can connect with her on social media. She's on Facebook and she's on Instagram. Reach out to her via email at ciestreet38@gmail.com, or you can contact her at 317-664-2609. All right, we are back with another episode of the Urban Wire, episode 106. And today we're going to be talking about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The title of this episode is called Trade Tales and Church Scandal. So we got plenty of scandal and we got plenty of tales to tell you about what these men are doing on the down low in these streets. So we're going to talk about a lot today. But before we jump into that, we're going to go to the lines. We have Miss Cie Johnson. You know she's always here, and I'm going to bring her on. Let's go to the lines.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. It's been a while since we've done a show, and girl, let me tell you, it is good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, as always. You know, we got a lot going on today. And, like I said, it's been a while since we've been on the air. So what's been going on with you? Mm-hmm. I know that we have your advertisement on the show. So can you tell us about what you've been doing and how's your business going and things of that nature? And tell us what's it like being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, sure. First, let me say thank you very much for the commercial. I loved it. So much. So thank you. I first want to say that it is truly a blessing and a wonderful opportunity to be an entrepreneur, but also an African-American entrepreneur as well. And there are so many opportunities out there for African-American entrepreneurs or people that are wanting to become Black business owners, but business has been great. I am actually looking forward to actually branching out more, making Cie Treats larger. Our orders are great. We're constantly getting orders. So everything has been wonderful. But if there's anyone that ever wants to branch out and just be a business owner, do it because it is worthwhile.
So what have been some of the challenges, especially being a Black business owner, and what advice would you give to anyone that is potentially thinking about becoming a business owner, especially those who are African American or minority?
Yes. Some of the challenges have been just being Black, and we're going to be all the way transparent about it. Sometimes when people get the word that there is a new Black business owner coming to town, sometimes they're a little skeptical or they're a little apprehensive on wanting to frequent their establishment because, truthfully, sometimes people feel as Black business owners are not in line or not in tune with being able to accurately conduct a business or sale. But one thing that I would like to say for anyone that wants to become a business owner that is African American, do not allow what people are saying or any type of wrong statistics that are being placed out there make you feel as if you cannot do it.
Right.
Just to become a Black business owner, it is very, very simple, and there are all types of grants out there for you. There are a lot of actual scholarships, and there are loans that will actually help you to actually become a Black business owner. And one thing that I will say, too, is know your product. You have to know your product from A to Z before you are wanting to sell it, because it's nothing like being in business or wanting to be in business and someone asks you about your product and you cannot effectively tell them. So know your product, and also get a memorandum of understanding, basically finding out which areas are more prone to wanting your product there, and don't be so fast to disclose what your product is made of, because people will snatch and they will run. So just being focused on what you're wanting to do, put it on paper first, write your business plan, know what you want, dream about it, and get it done. And I guarantee you will love every aspect of it.
That is wonderful to hear, because I feel like that is an area that we need to start venturing off into, especially during the pandemic. I think people think, well, man, I don't know if this is a good time. I think this is a better time than ever to explore different avenues. And I think entrepreneurship is one of those avenues that we as a people should be exploring, and it's wonderful to hear that you've been having this levels of success. And we will definitely be doing a show on Black entrepreneurship. I'm going to probably get some experts on it and get a panel together, because I think that is something I would love to explore on the show. But I will definitely have you in mind when we delve into that conversation.
Okay, wonderful.
So with that being said, I mean, there's been a lot going on in the news, and today we're just going to get down and dirty. We're going to talk about some stuff that needs to be talked about, because there's a lot of church scandal going on, and with the pandemic that's been taking place, a lot of people have been opening their eyes to the dogmatic stigma behind religion and religiosity, because I think a lot of people are getting to the place to where they are tired of the shenanigans that are going on in the church, and I feel that people are now looking at the church with a side eye, and rightfully so. And with that being said, we're going to also intertwine that into like these pastors out here doing stuff in the street that ain't got no business doing. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give a quick rundown on what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some basic news and current events, but the main topics we're going to hit on is Kim Burrell. So I know she's back in the news again. She just loves to be in controversy, and she never gets enough of being dragged. So we're going to talk about her. We're going to talk about Crefflo Dollar and the whole tithing situation. John Gray, those of you who don't know, he is out of the hospital now. He was suffering with a pulmonary embolism, so we're grateful that he is doing better and he has just been released from the hospital. We're going to also talk about Juanita Bynum, the Stellar Awards, R. Kelly, and, you know, we've been following R. Kelly for years on the show, so we're going to talk about that. There was an athlete by the name of DaShawn Brown who was an Indiana athlete that got arrested, and he was online, on Grindr, trying to act like he was trying to hook up with somebody, but he was robbing people. And then there's another guy, there was another athlete too by, his name is Isimemen Etute, and we talked about him on the T podcast about a couple of weeks ago about how he was found not guilty. Ricky Martin, he was exonerated after being accused by his nephew accused him of, I don't know, I guess they were in an inappropriate relationship, and I guess, you know, he was accusing Ricky Martin of pursuing him and harassing him and stuff like that. But we're gonna get into that. Orlando Brown, there's been some allegations with him and Bow Wow. Who hasn't he had issues with? You know, this guy's really got some problems. So we're gonna talk about him. We're gonna talk about a couple of preachers that's been caught messing with the girls. And when I say the girls, you know what the girls mean. Biden contracts COVID. And then we're gonna talk about the Greenwood, Indiana mass shooting, and we're gonna also touch on the Akron, Ohio shooting, because there's been a lot going on this month and since we last been on the air. So some of these stories might be a couple weeks old, but I really want to touch on them because it pretty much is going to bring a broader discussion on what's going on. Now, the first thing I want to discuss is the Greenwood, Indiana mass shooting. Now, did you hear about that, about that shooting that happened out in Greenwood last Sunday?
Yes, I did.
I said, Lord, I tell you, it's just a shame that we are living in a time where you can't even go to the mall. You can't even go to the grocery store. And it's just all these mass shootings are happening, and let's just keep it real. It's the same profile of individuals, white supremacists, and people that are mad at the world, and they want to take it out on everybody else. So I did a video on this, which you can check it out on our channel at www.youtube.com/UCOFW. And I kind of gave the outline of the events that took place that day. But there have been some updates since that story has taken place. We now know the identity of the shooter, and we know the identity of the quote-unquote Good Samaritan that took the shooter out. And I'm trying to find that information now. Get that to you guys. I was just researching that before I went on air, and see if I can find that. Yeah, 'cause I lost my link. But yeah, excuse me, guys. I had that pulled up, and we have an article here where the victims have been identified. The shooter himself was 20-year-old. He was a 20-year-old. We do know that he was 20 years old, and then the young man that took him down was from Bartholomew County. He was 22 years old, and shout out to him, because that took a lot of courage for him to, realize that, hey, we're in. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Thought I had it. Okay, let me shut this down right here. I had a lot of stuff open. Okay, the gunman that that took so many people's lives. His name was Jonathan Sepearman, and he was actually from Greenwood. And he was fatally shot by a 22-year-old bystander with a long gun, police said. The Johnson County Coroner's Office identified the 3 victims killed as 56-year-old Pedro Pineda, 37-year-old Rosa Miriam Rivera de Pineda, and 30-year-old Victor Gomez. Pedro and Rosa were husband and wife, the coroner said. They said the gun that he had was a 6 Sawyer model, the M400 5.56 caliber rifle. So it was a rifle that he took into the mall, and that was the gun that he used. They were saying upon him entering the mall, he went to the bathroom first at the food court, where he remained for just over an hour before exiting and firing his first shots at Victor Gomez, killing him with the rifle. I'm trying to find the name of the young man, and I thought that was in this article. At first, they were trying to keep that kind of like low key, because I guess I didn't know if they were just wanting to do that for legal reasons, and I can't find that right now. But that is the name of the actual shooter. He is dead. He was killed by this young man, and they said, like, if he hadn't have killed him, there's no telling how many more victims that would have been shot fatally. So it was just crazy, because personally, the reason why I feel like, man, I'm just so glad. And this is why you have to really listen to your instinct, because I don't know if I talked to you about this, C, but are you there? You still there, C?
Yes.
Yeah. There was a situation like where we were out there in Greenwood right before this took place, and I had actually contemplated on going to that mall, because usually, I had to run out to Greenwood because I had to get something for my aquarium, because, I'm really big into my aquarium, so I had to run out there and get a new filter and some other stuff for my one of my fish aquariums. And usually, sometimes I stop at the mall, because they have, the food court is like this Asian bistro place that I go to. They have really good food, and I usually go out there when I go to the Greenwood Mall. But that day, something told me not to go out there, and it was just for some reason it took me forever to get out the apartment. It was just like one thing after the other. I couldn't find my shoes. I couldn't find this, couldn't find that, and I was just procrastinating. And it was just thankfully that happened, because once we left the pet store across the street from the mall, we noticed that there were like at least 20 IMPD officers. And it was just kind of odd, because you never see IMPD that far down in Greenwood. And those of you that don't know what Greenwood is like a suburb of Indianapolis. It's like south of Indianapolis. Yes. So it was weird to see all those cops there. And then, like, as we were leaving, there were just cops steady coming. Like, there was ambulances coming. It wasn't like it was a fire or anything, because we didn't see any fire trucks. So I said, at that point, I got a bad feeling that it was actually a mass shooting, because if it was just a regular shooting, it wouldn't be that many cops. And then just the fact that you see ambulances coming, I said, I already knew something bad was happening. So at that time, this was like around between 5:30 and 6, and we hadn't seen anything on the news at that time. We, me and Jonathan were trying to figure out what was going on. He couldn't find anything. So push come to shove, like 30 minutes later, it was actually a mass shooting. So I just thank God for grace and mercy, and just thank him for not even being at that location during that time, because there's no telling what could have happened. You know, so I don't know. It's just I don't know what to say. It's just I'm really thankful that things didn't go the way they could have gone. And my prayers and thoughts are going out to the families of the victims. And it's just really a sad situation to now, where you have to be on alert at all times when you go out. You just can't assume that you're not going to be a victim of that. And I think a lot of times people feel like because they live in certain areas that they don't have to go through these types of things. And we're starting to see that this stuff is happening in small towns. It's not happening in just the major cities. So what do you feel about with all these mass shootings going on? How do you feel about what's been taking place? And I mean, how do you feel about the whole entire situation with gun violence?
Well, first let me say that I am just extremely saddened by it because, just to blatantly want to take a life is just horrible. And the sad part about it is that these individuals left their home not knowing that it was going to be their last day, not knowing that they were not going to make it back home. And gun violence has to stop. It definitely has to stop. And I know that it seems repetitious when we talk about it because we find ourselves saying it needs to stop, it needs to stop. But it seems like that there are not a lot of policies nor regulations set in place to actually help stop the gun violence. Because now what it seems like is happening is that there's more towards condoning gun violence versus stopping it. Because, of course, we all know about the July 1st mandate, just allowing everybody which way they're coming to actually carry a gun. And that is just the dangerous part right there. And it's affecting families, it's affecting businesses, it's just affecting people worldwide. And it definitely needs to stop. But what we don't understand is how this individual managed to get that type of rifle of that magnitude into the actual bathroom, because we know the entrance from where the entrance is to the bathroom, because I'm very familiar with that mall as well. So, so it's just like, how did he get in with that? What was he wearing? How was he hiding it? Was there anyone that saw him before or as he was walking to the bathroom and didn't say anything? Like, I don't know, but those are some of the questions that I would like to have answers to, because this is just so disturbing that he even got in with that gun and lasted in that bathroom for close to a whole hour, contemplating on what he was going to do.
Yeah, and it almost makes you wonder, and I don't even want to say this, but because it just logistically it doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't it doesn't add up. Like, did he get assistance from somebody? Because it just doesn't make sense. And now that you put it like that, I just noticed how would you get from that entrance to that bathroom and not being seen, especially on a Sunday afternoon when everybody's at the mall. People are out and about. That mall had to be full of people, and nobody noticed that. And that's why I'm saying you have to be in these days, sometimes you have to be very cautious and aware of your surroundings. And it's just a lot of things that I feel like that need to be answered. And it's just crazy. And another thing is just like, how are these young people getting access to this level of artillery? Like, how are they getting access to it? Because if we look back at the situation that took place in Chicago over that weekend, I think the 4th of July weekend, where that young man let out all those rounds, during that 4th of July parade. It's just how did you get access to that? And come to find out, his father was a politician up there, and he knew that his son had a history of mental illness. He has threatened the family. There was a situation where he has also threatened to commit suicide. Like, this young man was very mentally disturbed, and yet his father, knowing all of this, still signed off on him getting that level of. I mean, it's sickening. So I really think that now a lot of these mass shooters, their families want to play victim and stuff like that when all this stuff is said and done, but they need to be held accountable as well, because how do you not know that this stuff is going on under your roof. You don't know that your kids have these weapons. And some of the time, the weapons belong to the parents and stuff like that. You know, it's just no accountability. And I just feel that they really need to start going after these parents when it comes to these individuals going and committing these mass murders. Like, you know what I mean? That's just
absolutely
how I feel about it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so I really feel that we need to be careful. Just be on the lookout. You know, for those of you that are spiritual, just you gotta stay prayed up at all times, and don't take for granted that you're going to make it back home, because you never know. These people never thought that they would go to the mall and do something. Not like they going to the club, they're not out in the street doing this, that, and the other. These people would have never thought that they would have been victims of this type of just been a part of this type of carnage. So you know, I don't know. But, you know, and it's just so much going on that's shooting in Akron, Ohio. It's sad that, you know, it's not just domestic terrorists or people. You got to worry about the police being terrorists. Like, they're terrorizing, especially people, you know. And we have to really take a stand, and we really have to get out here and vote for people that's doing something for our community. I think a lot of times we want to either sit out, you know, sit out during the election, or we just want to keep voting for these people that aren't giving us anything tangible. And I really think it's time for us to really start holding our elected officials' feet to the fire. You know, we have to start asking the tough questions like, what do you plan on doing about this gun violence? What are your positions on gun reform? We need to start asking these questions instead of just going to the polls and voting blindly. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
So, I didn't know how you felt about that, but, like, you know, with the primaries coming up, like, how do you feel about voting? Do you think that we should sit it out, or do you think we need to be more educated on our voting?
We definitely need to be more educated about our voting, and you're absolutely right. You know, you have people that are uninformed because they choose to be uninformed. There's so much information out there. They make the information public for each person to actually see, to know. And they also have forums, they have meetings, they have so many type of educational things on TV. There's so much literature out there. The information is there, but you're right. Asking the questions is the only way that we're going to actually grow and know who we can vote for. You know, when we go to the polls, be educated first, just like what you said, because sometimes you have people that feel like that they're doing their due diligence by just going to the polls and just doing like the eeny, meeny, miny, mo type of project. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to vote for this person. Okay, let me vote for this person. Let me vote for that person. And the fact of the matter is that they know nothing. So, and that is how a lot of these corrupt, non-caring individuals are getting in office, because we elect them in. And if we are electing individuals in who are not doing what they're supposed to do, then it's never going to get better. It is never going to get better. So absolutely, voting is essential, but knowing who you're voting for is a must.
Yes, definitely. All right. Well, we want to also, speaking of politics, Biden has been confirmed. Reports are saying that he has tested positive for COVID, and that just goes to show you that COVID has not gone anywhere, and COVID has not, it doesn't discriminate, you know, so we have to really take it serious. We also have the threat of monkeypox that is starting to spread, so we just got to be very aware and vigilant of our health. We have to take our health serious. and realize that these illnesses and these and what's going on right now is affecting everybody, you know. And I would hate to see people not take this serious, and then once it knocks at your front door, then you want to sit up here, and then all of a sudden you want people to feel sorry for you. And I think that's the thing, especially with COVID. A lot of people didn't take that serious, and then until it affected them personally, you know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
We have to really take our health serious, and you know, some people may feel a certain way about vaccinations, but I'm a very big supporter of it. If nothing else, you need to be wearing your mask, and you know, and I'll be honest with you, I've slacked up on it. You know what I mean? But I have also made sure that I was vaccinated too. So you have to do what you can do. You know, you can't sit up here and just not take this serious at all. And then once it hits you, then you all of a sudden you want to take it serious, because it don't work like that. Because at that point it could be too late for you. So I just wanted to just bring that up. Let me see what else I had as far as local news. That was the biggest thing. The numbers are starting to go back up. So just be on the lookout, you know. Keep utilizing your hand sanitizers. Start utilizing your mask if you haven't been utilizing them when you go out in public. And just pretty much do your part in stopping the spread of this virus, because it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So we have to just be vigilant of that. Okay, so with all that being said, we're going to jump into the meat and potatoes of the hour. We're going to get through these stories, and we're going to let you guys go, because you know it's Friday night, and I know some of y'all going to be out here in these streets doing some strange things, because that's what we're talking about tonight, is some strange things going on. For those of you that want to jump in and feel free to call in, you can call us at 516-595-8150. Once again, that's 516-595-8150. Now, the story I know that everybody's been talking about this week is the story dealing with gospel music star Kim Burrell. Now, many of you, some people may not know, but she is a preacher and a pastor as well. And supposedly, I guess, she claims that her and Whitney Houston were close, because Whitney Houston used to go to her church and stuff like that. I guess she's back in the blogs again, because she can't keep her foot out of her mouth. You know, she's constantly saying, and she doesn't realize that there's repercussions behind things that you're saying, especially if you're out here proclaiming to be a so-called woman of God. Now, recently she visited a church under the leadership of a so-called prophet Brian Carn. And see, I don't know if you know anything about Brian Carn, but he's had his share of scandals too throughout the years. One of the recent scandals that he had was, I think it was last year or the year before, a year or two ago, he had made a New Year's Eve prophecy talking about what's going to be happening in the next year. And it was discovered that he had taken all his prophecies from an online psychic / witch. So they went back and found that he plagiarized his whole sermon and his prophecies from this witch. And they had the side-by-side video of him making this so-called prophetic word, or bringing forth this prophetic word at the church. And then they played, it was almost word from word. And also, he's been caught up in scandals as well. He has a real slick and disrespectful mouth, too. This is the same pastor that wants to talk about sexual immorality, and then he gets up in the pulpit dogging people out and talking about people's physical appearance. But this is the same pastor that's been caught up in sleeping with another pastor's wife, and allegedly. And then they said he's done all kinds of things. He's slept with underage, all kinds of stuff going on. And this is the preacher that Kim Burrell went to his church and co-signed him. But yet you want to condemn gay people, but yet you uphold this type of person. But anyways, she went on doing this. I guess she was at this church, she was going there, and I'm going to say performing because that's all she's doing. She's just performing, calling the members, making fun of people that don't have money, talking about them, saying that they broke. She says that she don't deal with broke, ugly people, and that she was making fun of people that live in trailer parks or they don't have money. She was just real disrespectful. So what we're going to do, because I want you guys to hear it for yourself, because I couldn't believe this, which I actually can believe because I just know the kind of person she is. But we're going to go to actually a clip of her at the church, and then I'm going to also play a clip of another clip, something that surfaced of what she said in the past, because she hasn't changed. She just has a nice, nasty way of saying stuff. So we're going to go to these couple of clips, and then I'm going to come back with the rest of our commentary. And then I'm going to go, after we talk about that, I'm going to jump to the apology.
How many times have you changed your name on your light bill? How many of your bills in your little cousin's name? Do you live in a trailer home or a house? You understand. It's not about status or material things. It's just about choices. Life is different now. And, we are in church. Thank God we're here. Those of us who walk up our faith without a mask and no vaccine. And so we honor the Lord. God is good. I respect all of the men of God here. And respect you. Can y'all clap so I don't feel strange right about now? Hopefully we'll get a chance to meet each other when y'all invite me to come to your church. I'm not as expensive as I say. And so, I don't know. Maybe you got a little left over from your PPP, though. Prayer, praise, and power. You understand? Amen. Isn't the Lord great? Amen. Amen. And so, I like coming here because the ground is already tilled with great personality like Dr. Karn. Because one thing I love about him, he's deep in the word, but he knows how to have great humanity. And most don't understand his personality because he is truth personified. And he tells the type of truth that makes most uncomfortable. Because who likes to be told you're just ugly? No one likes to be told that. Especially when they have realized it. All right. Most don't get offended until they know the bad thing about themselves. And then somebody else recognizes it and says, I saw the ugly too. I just wanted to let you know. So anyway, y'all get that later. God is great. All of you are beautiful. I haven't chosen anyone to be ugly yet. God is good. God is great. You all look great. Most of you have on hats covering most of that anyway. Here's to you. I have a great personality. I'm going to sing. Daily I shall.
Okay. And we're going to go to this other clip really quick.
Young ladies, time to stand up and get you some money. Get you a job. Quit thinking you so wonderful with that dirty thong on, thinking some brother gonna come in your life and make you a princess and you ain't living a dime's worth of nothing. What makes you think, boy, gonna give you a job to celebrate you and support you and you dirty? Don't even know how to wash good. Musty right now as we sit here. And you think, boy wants you in his life? Folk around you scared you gonna shout because of what they gonna smell. It's in the house, so we got to deal with it in the house. I'd rather us talk about it in the house than to get out on the street talking about we prophesying and laying hands on the sick and they shall recover. And as soon as you lift your hands, the wind blowing somebody's nose and they about to pass out because you must have the dog. Like you've been eating deviled eggs. The house of God got to step up. These people in Hollywood, they go get a colonic when they want to feel better. We sit there and I'm going to put some oil on my forehead. Girl, you better go get a colonic. Clean your intestines. Y'all ain't going to like me tonight. Clean yourself up. It's the truth. Y'all sit next to folk and you talk about her on the way home on the cell phone. You call each other. Did you see her? Did you smell her? That's the kind of stuff that keeps us separated in the house of God. We don't know how to come to each other in love and tell each other, sweetheart, I love you, but you don't smell good, baby. Let's talk. Let's talk. Come to me. Who are your parents? Is there anything that I can do to help you? What can I do? Can I buy you a month's supply worth of this? This is real.
I don't even know what to say. Like, how could anybody take someone like her serious? Like,
yes,
she is just all about show. Like, you know, and looking at her, she has the nerve to talk about anybody's looks. Like, and you can tell that it's obviously a lot of hurt and a lot of things that are going on with her personally, because for her to be 49 years old looking like that, that's just a reflection of how you feel about yourself. You know?
That's right.
And it's just unacceptable for you to be in the house of the Lord talking to people like that. You know, how do you feel about hearing those clips? How do you feel about that?
I'm disgusted. I am sick, Seneca. I am sick of it, and I'm sick of her, because the fact is that you call yourself a woman of God. You call yourself a pastor, and you are not displaying any of those aspects at all. You are not, and I agree with what you said. She's all about show. She's all about status. And the fact of the matter is that she is displaying what church hurt is all about, meaning that she does not know how to go to anybody in love. She does not know how to say things in love. She's saying it because apparently someone must have said the same thing to her. So now she's probably hurt deep down inside, and she want to hurt somebody else. And all the stuff that she has done in the past where nobody wanted to deal with her then, she just, was able to come back around, and then you do this again. This makes no sense, and if this is your MO, leave it out of the church. Leave it out of the church. Don't do that, because you have babes in Christ. You have people that may want to come to Christ, that may want to know more about Christ. And then you hear somebody like that, and people are going to be so confused, like, is this how church people are? She is setting a bad example. She is setting a bad example, or she is a bad example.
But you know what? Like, and I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. She's all about money. And she goes whichever way the wind in the current goes, because you claim that you so against the LGBT community, but yet wasn't it her that did a song with Frank Ocean? Wasn't it her was trying to get some clout and some shine off of Ellen DeGeneres' show until she pretty much curved her and pretty much told her, you ain't coming on my show? Like, how is it? It's all about, like, with her, it's all about having her name in lights. And I'm going to tell you this, I don't know if you know this, how can you sit up here and preach about God when you won't even have anything to do with your own brother? She has a brother, and he's on YouTube. Like, I know he's been on a couple of channels. Like, I guess he's done a couple interviews with people. And her brother actually is a very good singer. Like, he sings, and I ain't going to take it away from him. Kim Burrell's a good singer. But her brother is very talented, and she won't even put him on. And she acts like she's a singer, her brother, because he's gay. And, like, he did an interview with this YouTuber a couple years ago by the name of Jay Wilson. And he pretty much talked about her hypocrisy. And the reason why she's allegedly so bitter is because she had a husband that left her for another man. So that's why she feels the way that she feels about herself. And she tries to deflect, or she tries to, what's the word I'm looking for when you try to put that off of someone else? Project what you're going through and your insecurities off on other people. That's why it's so easy for her to get up in front of a church and talk down to women. That's why it's so easy for her to get up and talk down to the congregants, because she feels like that about herself. Like that time she was on stage, and she them heels broke on them ham hocks of hers, and she came tumbling down like Humpty Dumpty, and she gonna sit up there and laugh at the people talking about, you see the same ones that's laughing. Y'all walk around here with swaddling clothes and talking about my shoes are worth more than y'all renting this, that, and the other. Like, where's the humility at? Like, how are you calling yourself a woman of God? And every time you're going through something, you want to put other people down to build yourself up.
Yes.
So
that's it.
She had a statement once she got figured out she got dragged for going to that church, making a fool out of herself and trying to clown people. She put out a statement, and she claims it was her lawyer that made her write this, but I don't think so, because you would have to get it clear from your lawyer before you put it out, before it was put out. But this is what the statement says. As a kingdom citizen and a woman of integrity, I can acknowledge that some of my words, even if said in jest, can be offensive. My intention is never to hurt anyone, but to spread love, laughter, and more importantly, the gift which God has given me in song. If anyone was offended, I can sincerely say I apologize. With that being said, the irony in this is that those who are criticizing my statement are displaying the same very thing they have accused me of. However, it's not humorous or in jest. My image has been used in multiple places, and false statements and narratives have been created. The punitive damages for some are quite lofty. Please be mindful of what is both written and said via video about me, especially if it contains untruths. Slander and defamation are not taken lightly, especially if it affects my name, image, or brand. Those pages wherein vile comments and false narratives have been created have been noted, reported, and hopefully silenced. Again, I will apologize if anyone thought that my humor was malicious, but I will not under any circumstances tolerate harassment, slander, or for my character to be the same. Now, my thing is like, first of all, you are threatening people. First of all, people have a right to make commentary. For one, you are a public figure, and two, they're commenting on what you put out there. You can't get mad at people for commenting on what you put out there. Nobody's defaming. You have been very nice, Nancy. You have been very vile. You have been very vindictive. You know, these are things that you put out there. So you can't sit up there and think that you have a case and think that you can say whatever you want to say, and then when people respond, you got a problem with it. It don't work like that. The law don't work like that.
That's right.
You know, so what do you feel about that comment, and what do you feel about her trying to backpedal? Because the clip that I was going to play, which I had to upload it on here, I thought, and Blog Talk Radio doesn't have it on here, but she tried to backpedal and said that, you know, I'm just saying that this wasn't me, and my lawyer made me put this up and this, that, and the other. How do you feel about that? Do you think she's telling the truth about that?
No,
about saying that it wasn't her?
Well, I believe that she's lying, because the fact of the matter is that she originally messed herself up. Nobody was distorting her image. She distorted her own image by what she done. Right. And the thing about that is that, and to say that this is what the lawyer told her to do, no, that is not what the lawyer told her to do. She wrote those words because it's all about her image. She wants to keep making that money. She wants to keep getting invites. She wants to keep going to churches and singing and rendering songs. So she had to put a nasty little message out there and blame it on her lawyer. She is definitely not telling the truth about that. And she just ought to be ashamed of herself. And the fact of the matter is that when you get out there and you say those dastardly things and you embarrass yourself, you and then have the audacity to say that this is what the attorney wanted you to say, you put your own self out there. So how come those words were not coming from you? So you're saying that this is what your attorney said, But no, that is from you because you already have a nasty disposition anyway. Your mouth is nasty. The way that you carry yourself is nasty. That nasty message came from her.
Yeah, and I believe that because how do you would have to clear that before you put that out there. And if you felt that wasn't right, when it seems like to me you would have addressed that with your lawyer before them putting that out there. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and now that
absolutely.
you feel like that you're getting backlash from, now you want to backpedal, what they call backpedaling pussy pop. Now you want to act like you didn't have nothing to do with it, and that's how it always is. You know what I mean? And to me, I really feel that Kim Burrell has self-sabotaged her own career. And what you don't realize is you can't sit up here and call yourself a woman of God and you trying to reach the nations and reach people out there that are lost, and you have this type of attitude. You're very materialistic. You're very vain. You're very nasty. You're very condescending, and you think that you're going to be reaching God's people like that, and you don't. And it don't work like that.
No,
you know what I mean.
No.
So it's just I knew it was going to be a matter of time before she stuck her foot in her mouth, because it seems like every so often it's almost like she's doing this stuff to remain relevant. I think because you can't be that darn just careless and belligerent. Like, you done been in the industry for all these years, and you have not learned. I mean, who's your PR representative? Like, who?
Right.
You know, I guess she's working with this guy named Travis Malloy, and he's been getting on her about saying stuff, but she must be hard-headed. She don't want to listen, or either she don't have anybody, you know, that's really looking out for her, because nobody that is really working for you is going to have you out here looking crazy like this in these streets. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just wanted to jump on this because that's part of the church scandal that I want to talk about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And people are dragging her right now. They really are dragging her.
Yes. Well, it's about time, because you know what? She needs to be dragged through the mud. Like she needs to, because you know, there is, like, shame on anybody that condones anything that she does and says. And if they condone what she just done, then shame on you. And you are ashamed of yourself, because there was nothing godly about what she done. Nothing. And you get up there and you embusticate and embarrass people like that. And then when she, you know, says all this stuff about, well, you have this hat on and it's covering all of what you got on, you know, like she was just saying that it's covering your ugly up, and so you're fine because you got a hat on. And I'm like, how could you say that? And you're right about something. All them pictures of how she was before the gastric bypass, and honey, there is nothing pretty about that, honey. Because listen, and then fast forward.
Honey, she look like Miss. She look like Miss Sophia. She look like Miss Sophia.
Oh.
How you gonna talk about somebody you look like Miss Sophia? Like, how you gonna do
honey.
that? And my thing is, you know, they say black don't crack, girl. You 49 years old and you look like you damn somebody. I just don't understand it. Like, I was just surprised when somebody said she's not even 50 yet.
My God.
But like but you know what? They're gonna say God don't bless no mess.
Yeah,
He don't bless mess.
No.
And you could tell.
Absolutely.
I don't look like what. You know how some people say I don't look like what I've been through? Well, honey, she definitely look like what she done been through. She she's been used and abused. And I don't care how much many them damn cheap wigs she put on her head, them jacked up wigs she put on her head, how much foundation she dang on, apply on her face, and I don't care if she did have a gastric bypass. That ugliness on the inside is protruding and it's showing up on the outside, because you can't be that nasty and that vile and think that it's not going to show up and manifest physically too.
Absolutely. Because years of behavior like that, you know what? And it's just like what you're saying. You have a history of drinking alcohol and doing drugs. That does wear on a person, and people look 10 to 20 times older than what they really are. And a lifestyle of being mean and nasty and cruel will wear on a person, and it will show. It will show, and it's showing on her. It's showing on her. And you're right. She does look like Miss Sophia, and like I said before, honey, Harpo don't got her. So, so that's all I got to say. Harpo done got her.
Sitting up there looking like the Popeyes mascot. Girl, she's humming and singing some Honey Biscuits.
Buttermilk biscuits, yes. That's horrible.
Oh Jesus, I just can't. I just can't. Let me just get off of Kim Burrell right now because I don't want to go in too hard. This is what I'm saying, and then people are wondering why these churches are empty now. This is exactly why. Nobody wants to go and hear that. You don't know who's sitting in that audience and what people are going through. And they want to come and hear a word. They want to be uplifted, and then they got to hear that.
Yes,
who wants to go
absolutely.
Who wants to go to church and hear that? Like, who does?
You
know, it's just saying.
Right. Yes, it is.
Yeah. But that segues into another preacher that we want to talk about. And I don't know if you heard about this, Did you hear about Crefflo Dollar?
Oh, my God. Yes, I did. Yes,
so I guess now it has came to light that Crefflo Dollar is retracting his teachings on tithing. And he states that these teachings on tithing are not correct. And he won't apologize to his followers. But he will say that he was incorrect. So this was the same preacher that, mind you, this man's name is Crefflo Dollar, which allegedly he changed his name to Dollar. Because I'm like, wait a minute, this man, I don't know what his name happening. Anyways, we ain't going to get into that. That's alleged. But what's not alleged is the fact that he was out here a couple years ago trying to shame his congregation into paying him $65 million for a jet that he wanted for his own personal travel. You remember that when we covered that on the show? You remember that, right?
Yes, I do.
Now, I guess I'm assuming that he done got that money, or at least part of that money. Now, all of a sudden, you want to say my teachings ain't been right. And now that you've seen that this pandemic is wearing y'all behinds out and people ain't coming to the church house no more, you got to switch it up. So there's an article, and I'm going to read a part of it. This is from the Christian Post, and it states that it's entitled, Televangelist Crefflo Dollar says teaching on tithing are not correct, and he won't apologize to his followers. Challenging popular evangelical belief, controversial televangelist Crefflo Dollar, one of America's most flamboyant proponents of the prosperity gospel, has renounced the tithing in all his previous teachings on the subject as not correct. He also urged his followers to throw away every book, every tape, and every video I ever did on the subject of tithing. But he said that he will not apologize for his error. On a Sunday sermon bill, The Great Misunderstanding, the founder and senior pastor of the nearly 30,000-member church, headquartered in College Park, Georgia, said that he was aware that his declaration will cause him to lose friends and invitations to speak at other churches. So here's my thing, and I'm not going to get into it because this is some foolishness. When did you automatically decide that you've been teaching the error? Was this after the tide started going down and you got to come? You feel like you got to come up with another hustle? Because when that money was coming in, he was getting them millions. You knew that was some foolishness that you were preaching. So why now all of a sudden that you want to change your tune? Now, this is the same preacher. Now, I'm going to go back some years. We done talked about Eddie Long on this, on our network. We done talked about this for years. Do you remember when Eddie Long was going through that scandal and he told them people to go, y'all can't be over my church. Y'all got to go back to his church because they was friends, right? This is that same pastor. So How do you feel about, for one, how do you feel about this prosperity gospel? And do you think it's a coincidence, or do you think he's up to something by saying now all of a sudden that this is a faulty teaching? How do you feel about that?
Well, we're dealing with a pastor who has preached for years that money is everything. And he has always made the type of sermons or just any type of documentary or whatever he has done has always been about building him up and filling his pocket. Now, the issue that I'm having is that I feel as if that he is suffering in some way. He is lacking in something. And I agree with what you said. Either members have stopped coming, he's not getting the money that, he actually needs or that he wants. And, so now he is out here and he's trying to apologize because he's not at the status that he once was. And, and I just feel extremely sorry for somebody like that. And when I say sorry individual, he really is, because for years you have been pimping your church. All those people that have been coming to your church, given to you to put in your pocket for jets and for cars and things like that. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're saying that what I have been preaching about tithing is wrong. No, sir, you are suffering and you need money. And I feel in my mind that he's going broke. That he is going broke, or that he owes a lot out somewhere. It's something wrong.
Yeah. And he knows that people are getting turned off by this prosperity gospel because people know that they've been following this doctrine for years, and why am I still having to ride the bus to get to church? Why am I still have to walk? Why do I have to catch a ride with somebody else? I don't have my own vehicle. I can't even pay for gas in the vehicle that I do have. I can't even afford these groceries to pay for my children to eat.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you this money, and you're driving in a vehicle that's worth more than my house that I'm staying in. And you think that I'm going to keep going to your church? And he realized that people are on to the con now. They realize that you are conning the people. And he knows he has to switch it up now. So I guess it's one of those things. Oh, you just give what you can give. Just give what you want to give. I'll take anything at this point because I see that my time is winding up and people are figuring me out. So now that's just how it always is. These people are always cons. That's how they live their whole life, and that's all they do from the pulpit. And they just do this stuff. They don't have no consideration for people and what they're going through right now.
That's
with inflation going up, gas prices going up, cost of living, everything is just haywire, and they don't have any type of regards for that. They're not offering nothing to the people, no services, no social programs, nothing for the people. But yet you always got your hand out asking, just like Juanita Bynum. Juanita Bynum was just at the Kojic convention, or I think it was at AIM, and she had the nerve. And boy, you better be glad I can't get this clip to play right now, but I'm telling you, I will wear her behind out right now. She had the nerve to get in front of these darn people. And this is the thing, it's the entitlement for me. These people feel like they are entitled to your money, your hard earned.
Oh my God, what you done said.
She got her wig, got her Sharpay wig wearing behind up in front of everybody and told them people, I want y'all to give me $1,000 for these prayer claws, and I want y'all to get in line, because she had a $100 line, then she had a $1,000 line. She said, I don't care if you got to swipe your credit card, because when it comes to everything else, you're going to put it on your credit card, so you need to give me this money and swipe it on your credit card. Then she had the nerve to say, I guarantee you, if it was a trip to go anywhere in the world and it was for $3,000, y'all be lying and scheming and doing everything to get the money up to go on the trip, but then y'all don't want to give that. Then you want to put the Lord in. You don't want to give the money to the church. She had to stand before them people and guilt trip these people and say, "Give me your money. Give me your $1,000. I don't care what you got going on. Give me your $1,000." Like she putting a smack down on the saints. She putting a pimp hand to the saints. And I'm just looking at you, man. I said, yeah. So, and this is the same person that was talking about. We talked about this a couple of years ago on the Urban Wire. Remember, she was talking about them prayer kits where she got a bottle, some water, a prayer cloth, in a thing of oil, and she had a nerve to ask people to pay $133 for that. Yeah. When I would go to the damn dollar store and get a spray bottle, get some distilled water, get some oil, and then some cut up. You can go upstairs, find you some old cheap cut up cloths in your closet, and you wouldn't even be out of $20 for that. But she wants you to pay her $133 for some stuff that you can go find in your house right now.
My God, sick.
This was sick. The same woman too that talking about she was taking people's money. She said some man saw her panties on the bed because he was going in to check on the hotel room to make sure it was legitimate for her because she was trying to be a good host. She gonna lie talking about I didn't want to preach because he seen my panties and my bra laying across the bed. But your butt stayed at that hotel room, didn't you? You didn't get out of town, did you?
So did.
I don't understand it. I don't understand this woman. I don't understand it. Let me ask you, but you always felt that Juanita Bynum, because she's gifted too, but she just hasn't been right. Like I don't know. I don't know what happened to her ministry, but it just seemed like over time she just turned into a shyster. Like that's just my opinion about it. It just seems like something changed with her. And now she does nickel and diamond, and she's trying to hustle and do this, that, and the other, and she trying to be spooky deep and spooky religious when she ain't nothing but a corner pimp preacher. That's all she is now.
That's all she is. Yes. She is a demented individual. And here's my thing. Using the gift that you have for the intention of robbing people and then, like you said, putting the guilt trip on people to make them think that this is what they're supposed to do, like they're obligated to do this for you. No, if a person wants to, like they done pay their money to go in to see you or to go into the convention, whatever the case may be, but then you're going to go in and then you're going to ask them for more money and then you're going to say that this is what you need to do and you better do it. What kind of wicked individual is that? She needs to be out of the gospel industry now because she is not helping the industry to grow. She is tearing the industry down completely and has been doing that for years. She is not growing. She's not nothing. She's just stagnant because everything that comes out of her mouth is give me. You better do this and you better do that. You threatening people? And you putting an ultimatum on people? Absolutely not.
Let me tell you. See, I knew she was a joke years ago when she got into it with her husband at that dang on hotel. Thomas Weeks and was on TV and talking about she gonna knock her husband upside the head and she had a brick and she. I knew that she was nothing but a hood rat from Chicago. And no offense to people in Chicago, but that's where she's from. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
And she just exemplifies the characteristics of where she came from. Because ain't no way in hell that you're supposed to be exemplifying God's characteristics and you got that worldly spirit on you and you got that that it's just like you trying to like you got a hustle spirit on there. Like I don't know. To me I just wanted to talk about this because I said, man, I know this happened like a couple weeks ago, but I said, man, we got to talk about this because we're talking about church scandals tonight, and I think that was the perfect thing to tie into this because these people do not care that times have changed. People don't have the income, or they don't have the disposable income that they once had, and they don't care. They still want it all. They don't want to get up and get no job. They don't want to go out here. They don't even want to go out here and do any ministry, no outreach, but they always want your money.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what? But I want to say this part too. Making people forget what the true purpose is. That is what I feel like, you know, these people are doing. Like I feel like she is standing amongst people, and I believe that there were a myriad of people that were in that establishment that knew that what she was doing was wrong. But you have a vast amount of people that, you know, will look up to a person like this, that will actually worship a person like this and worship the ground they walk on, and they will say these things and make people forget the true purpose of worship and implement this devilish stuff and implement these threats and these obligations that they feel like that they need to have. And then you make people do that, or you try to make people do that. And the sad part about it is you have people that do. You have people, just like what you said, that will give their last, and they will walk out of there with nothing. Knowing good well they got to go pay bills. Knowing good well they got to go pay this and pay that. And they ain't even got no bus fare for the next day because they done gave her all the money. No, absolutely not.
And that's a bad individual that will put your own self-preservation or the preservation of your own family or your kids over somebody that don't even know your name and don't care about you.
Yep. That's right.
That's a sad individual. That is a sad individual. Like, you do not have money. You will forego your rent to give this woman. This woman literally, I wish I could have played this on the show because I had it on deck and I was going to play it, and it's not coming up. This woman said, y'all pay for everything else. Y'all put everything else on your credit card. You need to go ahead and put this on your card. Excuse me. You know, and it's just sick. It's an entitlement to me. How dare you act like you are entitled to other people's hard-earned money? You know, it's just disgusting. And then you talk, you're talking greasy to people. Like, it's just like, I just don't understand it. It just pisses me off. It really pisses me off the more I talk about it. You know? Yes. But I just, it's just these preachers are jackleg. They crooked. Yes, they are. They don't care about the people. They don't care about you. And you still got some people that still ain't learned. I'm really thankful. I mean, I know the pandemic was a bad thing, but it really has woken up a lot of people because they don't realize how toxic this religion is. I'm not talking about spirituality or having a relationship with God, but people didn't realize until this pandemic how toxic these churches are. That's right. Yes, absolutely. So, money making. Yeah, I just wanted to put that in your ear and just let you know, be careful about these churches. If these churches ain't doing no outreach and they always got money, I said, you sitting up here in these churches, pews falling in. I said, you done have all these. I said, your ceiling about to fall in the church. I said, you ain't got no heat in your air in the church. I said, shoot. But the pastor pulling in, he pulling in into the parking lot with a, like I said earlier, with a vehicle that's worth more than your house, and you, it's just like, where's the money going to? That's right. So that's pretty much the end of the church scandal section. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, did you have any final thoughts before we go into our last portion of the show? Well, you know, I just want to say, you know, it's sad, you know, that these preachers, like they get up and they are
telling people what thus said the Lord based on what they read, and they don't live it. They don't display it. And then they're making people feel as if that this is how things are to be, and you are making people think that this is what they are to do. And that is horrible. And if you are just operating your church as a business for the purpose of, you know, this money scheme that is going on, because that's the whole thing, your whole objective is to make money off people, then, you know, you are just horrible. And, you know, that's what God does. He tells us, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So God sees it. God sees it. He knows it, and he knows these people are dead wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a good way to segue into our next portion of the show. The next portion of the show, we're going to talk about trade and trade tales. And those of you that don't know what trade is, it's these men that are out here that are, I call them shapeshifters, and I call them transforming ass individuals, because they live in one way, but then when the nightfall comes, then they totally something else. And we want to make sure that you guys know about these men out here in these streets, because a lot of them are out here doing things. They doing some strange things, and they ain't living in their truth. So that's my thing. You ain't living in your truth, and you out here fronting like you something that you're not. And I got a problem with that. So when you hear about trade, what do you think about, Steve? Like, what do you think about these men out here that's out here deceiving these women, and that's out here doing things, and then they want to get around everybody else and act like they straight up and down? How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm going to say this, that I just feel like this. If this is a lifestyle for you, be proud of your lifestyle. Be proud of who you are. And the thing is that when you front and you try to appear as something that you're not, that's flat out fake. Now, my thing is that, you know, don't lead people on. Be real. Be who you are. You know, and it's just wrong to actually. So my thing is that if this is how you are, why are you afraid to actually display who you truly are? You know, at no time, you know, and what I mean by that is that you want to lead somebody on, but you don't want to tell them that this is how you are or this is what you're into. You're absolutely wrong. And, you know, you're not giving people the benefit. Yes. And you're not giving people the benefit of knowing, you know, who you are, what you're into, what your preferences are, you know, and it's just wrong. And you're right. It is very dangerous, because people are getting killed over stuff like that, because you're not being upfront about, you know, what you're into. You know, just stop faking. Like, that's my whole thing. Stop faking and just be real.
Yep, and that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm talking about. This first story we're going to talk about R. Kelly, because, you know, he just got sentenced, right? You know, he got sentenced to 30 years, right? But did you know, during the court hearings, they said it was two young boys that was, I think one of them was 17, and I forgot the age of the other one. They was talking about how R. Kelly was trying to suck them up. I ain't trying to be explicit or nothing, but he was talking about he was trying to suck them boys up and was trying to lead them on, and said that if you allow me to do this to you and I do it back to you, then, you know, I can help your career. And a lot of people,
oh my God.
And to me, I always knew. It don't surprise me that this just came out against R. Kelly. It don't surprise me, because someone that is usually that promiscuous, they don't have any boundaries. They will lay up with anything. And the messed up part about R. Kelly is, it's like, I'm not even looking at him now. I'm starting to look at these women that are still glorifying this man. Because they said now one of his victims, Jocelyn Savage, has came out and said that she's supporting him, and that she's engaged to him while he's in prison. How stupid can you be?
What?
Girl, I can't.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I got this article right here, and it's from page6.com, and it's saying R. Kelly engaged to alleged victim Jocelyn Savage. R. Kelly is engaged to one of his alleged victims, the woman revealed in a letter advocating for a more lenient sentence for the convicted sex trafficker. My name is Jocelyn Savage, and I'm Robert Kelly's fiancée. The 26-year-old disclosed to Judge Ann Donnelly on June 13th in a letter which Page 6 obtained. I'm writing this letter in support of Robert in advance of his sentencing, so I can explain to the court that I'm not the victim that the government has portrayed me to be. Now, I can go on with this. And it says Savage, who was one of Kelly's 2 live-in girlfriends, raved in a letter about her relationship with the I Believe I Can Fly singer at 55 years old, saying that they share a special connection and deep love. This is my thing. A lot of these victims don't even realize it's that Stockholm syndrome. They don't realize that they are being victimized and that they're being played. It kind of ruins the case of these other women that were actually victims, because you have this woman right here that is advocating for this creep. We'll just be honest about it. You know, and I've heard people say, well, they feel sorry for R. Kelly because he went through sexual molestation when he was a kid and this, that, and the other. I don't give a damn about none of that, because to me, just because you was victimized doesn't mean that you have to continue that cycle and victimize other people. You know, it comes a point in your life where you got to know right from wrong. You know, and it's just, I don't know, it's just sick that this woman is coming out. I would rather you not even go public and say anything. So what do you feel about this woman taking up for R. Kelly for one? And what do you feel about this hurting the case of the actual victims? Do you think that is something plausible, that this could hurt? Because he's still not done. Like, he still has other cases that he has to be tried for. So do you think that this will hurt those cases? And what do you feel about this woman taking up for him and actually being engaged to him?
Well, I feel like this. She's only doing this simply because she knows what she's getting out of it. She knows that there's something that she's getting out of it, and she's like, she doesn't care about her reputation. She doesn't care about his reputation. She just wants to continue to receive whatever type of monetary gifts, whatever type of status that she's getting from him. And, you know, and just to put yourself out there and to condone everything that he's done, you know, really just makes you basically the same way that he is, you know, and it's wrong. And basically what she done was that she condoned every single thing that that he actually done. And the thing about that is that really does hurt the actual cases at hand pertaining to the other young women, or the women, period, who were victimized and, you know, by him. You know, and it's just like, so basically what it's saying is that, oh, it's okay that you've done this. You'll get over it. Think about what will happen with your life, and think about the positive things that will happen with your life simply because you were engaged with a man of such status. That is sick. That is absolutely sick. And, you know, and for her to think that everything is okay and that there's nothing wrong, she is sadly mistaken. Be engaged with someone who is in prison for those sex crimes, and that's going to spend their life in there for 30 years, and, you know, who basically is about broke. You know, I just don't understand. You know, yes. So, you know, I just don't understand what she feels like she's going to get out of it, just basically just having the name Kelly. And that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. And this is what's even more disturbing. Like, I don't understand, like, how you as a woman would want to be engaged with this man, and he done with these. Now it came out that he done went after these young boys. How he done coached all these women to manipulate all these people, and it's just like how could you feel comfortable laying up with that? Like how could you be comfortable being tied to that? And you with a man that can't do nothing for you. He's in prison. I mean, what are you getting out of this? Like, I mean, people gonna be looking too crazy now. Just, I don't get. I do not get these people. I promise you, I don't get them.
No. They don't care. They don't care anything about what happens, and they don't care about the outcome. All they want is just status. And they're not thinking about what's going to happen to their life or what's going to happen to their family's life. Like, they just don't care. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Speaking of other celebrities that's been doing some questionable things, there's, I don't know if you ever heard of Orlando Brown. And for those who don't know who he is, he's like in his early 30s, but he used to be on the Disney Channel, and I'm going to pull up this story about Orlando Brown. This is coming from the EUR Web, and this is coming from an article entitled Nick Cannon Responds to Claims That He Was Caught in Bed with Kel Mitchell. And then I have another article that was speaking about how Orlando Brown did this interview talking about Little Bow Wow. Talking about he done messed around with Little Bow Wow, talking about, and excuse my terminology, but talking about he got some good pussy. Some good pussy. So it's just like, what is really going on? Like, he claims that Nick Cannon, Nick Cannon gave him some head.
What?
And he said that he put... He said Nick Cannon gave him some head in a wig in a cheerleading outfit. And
oh my God.
I'm going to say this, like, Orlando Brown is really out there, but I'll say this ain't the first allegation we done heard about Nick Cannon doing some questionable activity. So it's one of those things.
You're right.
It's 50-50. So, but I don't know about Orlando Brown. It's just really sad to see a child actor from Disney, like, all jokes aside, like, just him dealing with drug abuse issues and stuff like that. And just looking at him, he's like younger than us. And that guy looks like he has all this gray hair now. He looks rough. Like, he's in his mid-30s, and you can just tell that he's just been through a lot of shit, like, in his life. And it's just, I guess he at one point said that him and Raven-Symoné had some issues too. And she's another childhood actor that's been going through went through a lot of stuff. I think Hollywood really does a number on these child actors and actresses.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It really shows once they get older. Like, I don't know what they see or what they go through when they're in Hollywood. And that's for a lot of these people in Hollywood. That's why they call it Hollyweird, because once you get sucked into that industry and get sucked into that life, it's just like these people they're never the same again. So it's just kind of weird that these allegations are going on. But this article says that we reported earlier that Kel Mitchell's ex Taisha Hampton took to social media recently to recall the time that she came home and found her ex-husband in bed with Nick Cannon. Hampton was married to Mitchell from 1999 to 2005, and they shared 2 adult children. In a TikTok video, she said during their marriage, she came home early to find Cannon on the bed wearing her cheerleading outfit and doing the dance routine for her then husband. She said, quote, "Remembering when I came home to Nick Cannon wearing my full cheerleading uniform, including the briefs, doing cheers on the bed for my ex-husband, Kel Mitchell, to cheer him up, she wrote. So the Wild 'N Out host posted a response to Baller Alert's Instagram page after the outlet reshared her video. He said, "Yep, we probably had the big ear of corn, a bunch of orange soda, and a couple of Kids' Choice Awards up our ass too," Kennan wrote. Many social media users were quick to point out that he didn't flat out deny what Hampton said. So my thing is, everybody can't be lying on Nick Cannon. So you got Orlando Brown saying that he gave him some head with a wig on, and then now you got this woman saying that he was in her damn cheerleading outfit doing damn splits and busting it wide open for her husband. So my thing is like this is why I gotta ask you, see, as a woman, what would you do if you came home and your man was in your cheerleading outfit and he was in bed with another man? Is there any excuse that he could give you to weasel himself out of that? Or, I mean, how would you feel about that?
You know, if I ever walked into something like that, and I'm telling you right now, just like they said, and I'm going to get you suckers, the window or the stairs, either way, you got to get the window or the stairs, honey, get the hell out. I don't care how you get out, but you got to go. That is disturbing, and that is actually hurtful. That's something that's embedded in a woman's mind. But I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not going to think twice about it. There is no coming back. There's no reconciliation. There is nothing like that. It is just a done deal. And
but you know, he
got to go.
But see, but he got money though. And he's a good looking man. Like, would that be a determining factor? You know, you got money, right? You gonna just turn a blind eye to it, or you gonna work it out and pray about it and turn it over to Jesus? What we gonna do about it?
Well, he has money, and you know, and I have money too, and I may not have it to the you know, like how much he has it, but the fact of the matter is that it ain't that much money in the world that will make me condone what he is doing to make me even go back and even consider being with someone like that. No, absolutely not. And plus, you wearing a cheerleading outfit with the wig on and doing all kind of stuff like that. No. So that means that when you're with me, you already had those tendencies. And my thing is that, and if that's what you like, that is what you like. I'm not judging nobody. I don't care what you do. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, if that is something that you are into, you need to let the person know prior to even getting with them. So I'm just saying this. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the status. I don't care about Wild 'N Out. I don't care about nothing. You got to go. You got to go.
Well, and that's hey, we're just gonna leave it at that. Now, I want to go to this next story because we got less than 20 minutes left, so I'm going to try to rush through the rest of these stories. There's a couple stories I want to get because this would be a couple of these preachers out here getting caught doing some things, and a couple of these athletes, too, that's been caught up in some stuff. But Ricky Martin's nephew has dropped his charges against the singer. So I guess his nephew claimed that they had an incestuous relationship, which is against the law in Puerto Rico. So a lot of people were giving this story the side eye because it just seems like this nephew was very opportunist. Ricky Martin is married. He has a husband. He has a family. He has kids and stuff like that. So a lot of people was wondering, why would this guy do this? And a lot of people thinking that it was a clout type of thing. Especially now that he all of a sudden, quote unquote, dropped these allegations or dropped these charges all of a sudden. So it just, to me, I feel like this nephew probably knew that Ricky Martin had money and he was trying to come up, and it was just it was just crazy to me because I'm looking at Ricky Martin. Why would he have to stoop and he has all this going on and have a relationship with his nephew? Like, even if he was going to have a style relationship, like, out of all the people, why would he mess with his nephew? It wasn't adding up to me. And now that these charges are dropped, it's like, it makes me wonder, like, what was his nephew's motives? You know what I mean? So this article says that, and Yahoo News says that his nephew has dropped his charges against the singer, and Martin's husband is ready to move forward and move on. Truth prevails, Juan Joseph wrote on Instagram, showing him and his hubby cuddling up close. Martin and the couple have been going through an extremely tough time recently, as Martin's 21-year-old nephew has filed a restraining order against the singer, alleging that they had sexual relationships after they broke up. Martin continued to harass him. Now the nephew has dropped all the allegations. Just as we anticipated, the temporary protection order was not extended by the court, from Martin's team of lawyers said. The accuser confirmed to the court that his decision to dismiss the matter was his alone, without any outside influence or pressure, and the accuser confirmed that he was satisfied with his legal representation in the matter. So we're going to end this here and just say, let me ask you this, C. Do you say that he's guilty or not guilty at this point, in your opinion?
I say that there's pure guilt. I say that there's guilt there. You know? Mm-hmm. Because, you know, you're going to do something like that with your uncle, and then you're going to do something like that with your nephew, and some type of infatuation there down the line. Growing up, you're infatuated with this man who's known to gyrate on stage, who is known to give a performance out of this world, who is a musical icon, a dancer, you know, and my thing is, okay, you're doing that, and then there are feelings that are coming out, and now the feelings can't even, like you can't even contain yourself now. So I feel like it's just pure lies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, I just thought that was real odd that story came out, but I said, well, I guess now the charges are dropped, so whatever.
Wow.
So I want to move on. We got, how many more stories we got? We're going to try to squeeze these 1, 2, 3. We got 3 more stories left. No, actually we got 4 stories, but they're really quick, and we're going to get through them in the next 13 minutes. There was a Detroit, I ain't going to call him a pastor, I'm going to call him pastor. There was a Detroit pastor by the name of Albert Weathers that was charged with killing a trans woman. She was a sex worker. She was pretty much, you know, just doing it just to survive. Like, you know, a lot of trans women, they have to do that type of work because, you know, that's just a way of survival for them. And they said that this Detroit pastor, his name was Albert Weathers, and he was known to frequent Palmer Park, and that's like a well-known area up there in Detroit where a lot of people frequent the transgender prostitutes. So I guess he was charged because he ended up killing this trans woman by the name of Kelly Stowe. Now, Kelly Stowe, there was video surveillance, and he claimed that he went to go pick this prostitute up, and once the prostitute spoke, he thought, oh, well, he was obviously a man because the voice was deep in this, that, and the other. But come to find out that this man, he did not want to pay. He probably didn't want to pay. So she got out and went on about her business, and he got rough with her, and I guess he got out the car and ended up shooting her. She was no threat to him. She left the scene, and there was a lot of other transgender prostitutes that have been known to sex workers in that area that have said that they all knew who he was, and nobody ever wanted to deal with him because they knew how he was. They knew that he was really rough, he was really aggressive, and he acted like he never wanted to pay. He was cheap, and I could tell by that cheap-ass haircut he had that he didn't want to pay no damn prostitute because he couldn't even pay for a decent haircut, looking like somebody, looking like Bubba, looking like that. What's that prisoner in, you remember that movie Life? When they want, who was that prisoner talking about, maybe I ought to eat your cornbread. That's what he looked like.
Oh. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes, that's what this pastor's giving me. And it's just like crazy how you just didn't have for one, like, what were you doing out there to begin with? You were supposed to be a man of God, and you were married, and you out here picking up transgender prostitutes. So that's why I'm telling you, these people are out here in these streets. They preaching one thing in this pulpit, and they live in a totally different life. And this is just crazy. Now this man got a murder charge, and then this woman's family, this woman's family is now going without her. And they're you know, it's sad. It's just really sad, you know. And this man is living a double life. There's no telling how many prostitutes he done been with, what he was doing on the side, and then he's going home to jump in the bed with his wife. You know?
Lord have mercy. Yes.
Yeah. So
my Lord.
So it's another pastor, they said, was from Florida, saying that he was caught with his pants down, and I want to say it was in a park if I'm not mistaken, with an underage boy that was 15 years old.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
These women got to be careful, and that's because I said, you think you're going to find a man in a church, in a church house, you ain't going to find nothing but all, these people, them some of the freakiest people you're going to find in the church.
That's right.
Then, check this out, another story that, and I got to get this name. They said it was a preacher that got caught beating his meat at Starbucks.
What? Oh, my.
I can't make this stuff up.
I know. My God.
You think you gonna go to Starbucks and get you a nice little cup of coffee, sit there, eat your chicken crumpets, and sit there and read your. I don't even know if people read. I don't know what people read, but I'm just saying, you think you're just going to sit there and relax, you know, and then you look up and you seeing this pastor jacking off at the door on Starbucks, and they said this ain't the first time he done got caught doing it.
Oh, my God. Come on. These are not people that's called by God. These are people that are just crazy and just stepping in here trying to be pastors and stuff like that, and they... no. God, this is sick. Thank God for this. I thank God I had parents that didn't leave me. You know how some of these parents be leaving their kids with just everybody, and they think, oh, this is pastor, so I can leave my child with the preacher. My parents didn't pay to play that stuff. Absolutely.
You cannot trust those children with anybody, because these people in the church are just as wicked and just as vile as these people out in the world.
Absolutely, yes.
So they said that this pastor from Florida, he was arrested for masturbating and exposing himself on the patio of Starbucks. God. And they said a press release from the Osceola County Sheriff's Office noticed that Ingeno Dolly Menuz Cologne, Ingeno Dolly, I can't even pronounce his name. He was arrested. This took place in May. But the police said that they now have just charged him with exposure of sexual organs and released a photo of him to the public. They said the Osceola County Sheriff's Office received a report of a male exposing himself with his organs while masturbating on the patio of Starbucks located in Kissimmee, Florida. So yeah. So they were saying that the man is not a big. It's crazy, and they gave him a $1,000 fine, and he's pretty much out here again. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's what your pastors are doing. And they need to be studying the word. When they supposed to be reading the word, and they supposed to be studying to show thyself approved.
Yes. And you got the audacity to be standing up on the pulpit, and you sitting up here, and you just want to say that this is what God gave you to say. And then in the next breath, you out here, and you, oh my God, See, this right here just gets me. Seneca, this is sick.
Yeah, this is what these preachers out here doing. They out here, they sleep on people, and then they want to cover their tracks, and then, like I said with that pastor I just mentioned, he wanted to kill that transgender because she probably knew that she was going to probably go put the T out on his ass.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just, I'm telling you, these people are wicked.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And people need to be aware of what is going on. And you're right. And these parents need to stop saying they trust these pastors, honey. No. Do your research. Look at the background. Study these No.
Yeah, that's another pastor. I was going to talk about him, but I didn't have time to really research the story. But they said there's another Kojic pastor that was been molesting these young boys for years and pretty much was punking them and threatening them and all this stuff, talking about you better not tell nobody, I'm going to kill you. It's crazy. And then he made a whole statement. I'm going to tell you how backwards these church people are. Like, they sitting up here clapping and cheering the pastor on when there's been all these victims coming out. And it's just sick, man. It's just really sick.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And then the fact that these church people think that these pastors are just, they can do no wrong. And that's these church members need to have their ass whooped. Like, seriously. I mean, I hate to put it like that, but sit there and know that there's victims out here, and then you still upholding these pastors instead of putting their ass in the chopping block. It's just disgusting to me.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
So we got a couple minutes left. There's two athletes I wanted to talk about. There was an athlete from Bloomington, I think, and he was online setting up people. He was on this dating site or this hookup app called Grindr for gay men, and he was going over there. He's supposedly straight. He was trade. That's what we're talking about, trade tonight. And he would go over there and tell these people to cut their lights off because he didn't want to be seen because he was on the DL. So he would go over some head from him too. They ain't gonna probably tell you that part of the story, but yeah, they met him. He met this person off the app and went over there and ended up robbing him. And this was like a young athlete that had his, he had a lot going for himself, and he got caught up in doing this. So I was just gonna tell you, like one of these little hustlers in the street that be out here. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. These women just don't know what's going on in these streets. These so-called straight men are out here hustling. They out here selling dick and doing everything in these streets, hooking up on these apps, selling booty, doing all kind of stuff. And they go home to their wives and their girlfriends, and it's sick. Like, it's really sick. And these women do not know that these men are out here doing this.
That's right. Like, they really don't. And then it's like, and then you have these wives or these girlfriends or whatever, and they are trusting, that everything is fine when they, go their separate ways to work or school or whatever the case may be. Like, they're trusting that they're doing everything right, or that, that they're in a trusting and a loyal relationship, when in fact they are not. And it ain't no telling what they have contracted. It ain't no telling what, and then the fact of the matter is that, you know, and then I would have been apprehensive if that mug gonna suffer and say, cut your lights off. For what? I ain't gonna shoot, because that would have been the time I would have been like, I ain't cutting nothing off. You need to get the hell out. See, that's.
But girl, you know,
that is just too much.
Also tell you, see, this is gonna be our last story here. We're gonna get up out of here because we got a couple minutes left. There was another story. We covered this on the T last month. It was this athlete. I can't say his name, but his name was Etute. His last name was Etute. And they said that he met up with this man that was on Tinder, and the I forgot the name. He went by a female name on Tinder, and they said that he went over there to the apartment with some friends, and the friends said they knew something wasn't right because all the lights was off, and they said it just wasn't right. They said that they knew that it wasn't really a woman, so they all cut out and left. But this guy went back after they all cut out and got some head, received. I'm gonna be professional on the show. He received oral sex from this guy. His name was Jerry Smith. That was his real name. But they said that he went on ahead and went back after the other guys left, and pretty much he got clowned. He pretty much got clowned by his friends. So he went back over there to like pretty much prove to his friends that, hey, I'm gonna get this guy, this, that, and the other. He ended up beating the guy to death, and then the case went to trial, and he ended up getting off. And my thing is like you wanted to act like you didn't know it was a woman, but what woman is going to, first of all, pay you to get, I mean, it was like you would pay the woman to give, if she gave you oral sex, it was the other way around.
Yep.
Gave you a $50 gift card and sent you on your way. And you was messing around with this person in the dark. So you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew. Yes. So again, this is going to be another one of these guys that's going to, and you think it's going to be the last time he's going to get some head from another man? He's just going to be more discreet.
No.
So these are the men that's going to be going home he's going to get, one day probably get married. He'll probably convince some dumb bobblehead woman that, I didn't know it was a woman and this happened in my past, but I ain't like that. But this is going to be the same one that's going to still be out here sneaking around, messing around with cross-dressers and transgenders and other men. And that's why I just want to let you women know that this stuff is going on out here.
Absolutely.
And these people want to always act like they was deceived. 9 times out of 10, you knew it was a man. You knew what you were getting into, just like they want to say they didn't know they was messing with transgenders. 9 times out of 10, they know it was a transgender. They just can't stand or handle the ridicule, so they feel like, they have to go to extreme measures to prove that they're heterosexual. So I don't know. As we close this show, like, what do you feel about this, and what would be your message to women out here that are dealing with men that they suspect, or women that are possibly getting into the dating world? What would be your advice to women if they're going through that situation or they're entering the dating world?
My advice would be to make sure that you know who you're getting engaged with. You need to know that. That means that do not rush into a relationship just because the individual looks good, he may have a nice job, and his appearance is wonderful, and he has all of the aspects that you're looking for. Sometimes looks can be extremely deceiving. Take your time, see relationship, ask questions. If you may know of anyone that's, like if you have friends that may actually know the individual that you're trying to date, talk to them. Just find out the things that he likes. Find out the things that he wants. Because jumping into something like that can cost you. And, and it is very unfortunate that, you have men like that are not wanting to be upfront and honest, but they rather hide it and hurt someone in the long run. So women, you just really just need to just keep your guard up, get to know them, and the signs will show.
All right. Well, this was a good show. Like I said, we haven't, we're getting back into the swing of things again. And I really want to thank you for always being there, supporting the show. And thank you for coming on and doing this with me today.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
I know we had a few technical difficulties, but I think going forward, I'm probably not going to be doing the live shows on Blog Talk Radio. I'm going to probably upload my own, because I already got some podcasting equipment. But as far as doing these live shows, there's just been too many technical difficulties on this show. And I hate how it just breaks up the flow of the show. I'm going to probably go back and edit this episode. But, yeah, we're going to probably just be doing pre-taped shows, and then we'll just do the episodes. Like, we'll probably record it live on Facebook Live. But I think there's been too many issues with Blog Talk Radio. So, but, yeah, I just wanted to apologize for that. But I really think this was a really good show.
Yes.
We will be back. We're going to probably do, 1 or 2 shows a month because I got the other shows too. So there's going to always be something for you guys to check out. Yeah, and then check out Cie's Treats. Before we go, can you tell people where they can find you?
Yes, absolutely. Cie's Treats actually has a physical location. We are in Seaway. We are located at 5610 Crawfordsville Road. That's Building 7, Suite 708. And that is in Indianapolis, Indiana, even though it's Speedway, but it goes by Indianapolis, Indiana. And the zip code is 46224. We're also on Facebook just under Cie's Treats. That's CIES Treats. And we can also be reached via email, and that is at ciestreats38@gmail.com. And we're also on Instagram just as ciestreats38.
All right. Well, thanks again for checking out the Urban Wire. We will catch you guys here hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. Until next time, just be safe out here. Like you said, our thoughts and prayers are still going out with the families of the victims of the mass shooting that took place here. And like I said, just be on the lookout when you leave the house. Don't ever take for granted that you're safe. I'm a very big supporter of the Second Amendment rights. So if you're lawfully able to carry a firearm, go get some training. You know what I mean? Protect yourself because to me, I feel like if the criminals are out here armed, I feel like the law-abiding citizens should have a right to be armed, and they should be able to protect themselves and their families, because it's getting to the point now where we have to really be serious and have an honest conversation about gun safety in this country, and we have to protect ourselves. The responsible gun owners, I thank God there wasn't a responsible gun owner at that mall that day. Took that killer out, because if it wasn't, it could have been a whole lot worse. But anyway, we're going to jump off of here, and if that's it, we will see you next time.
See you.
All right. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.